Beating down the door, maybe haunting our dreams, or at least somewhere in memes, there's a mascot of a particular language app. This app, which shall remain nameless, is one I actually rather enjoy. But if I miss a day, I'll lose my streak, and there's something of a burden to doing that. I imagine many of us have this sort of similar process of not wanting to break the chain. Is there an alternative? Welcome to the Rhythms of Focus podcast for wandering minds who are tired of feeling that they have to force themselves to make things happen. Maybe know that when things line up well, that tendency to wander actually becomes a powerful wave of focus. I'm Dr. Kourosh Dini, fellow wandering mind. It wasn't that long ago that I struggled to make things happen, whether it was to remember when to pay a bill, do things over time, or look at a list without feeling repulsed. Fast forward through years of study and practice, I can now not only deal with the world, I can be creative, playful, and engage in the ways that make sense to me. I can be a doctor, musician, father, still play games in the evenings. I've created this podcast to share these ideas so you can do the same, hopefully with a lot less of the troubles I needed to go through to get here. Whether you have ADHD, deal with anxiety, or just suffer from a powerfully creative spirit, I invite you to join me in this weekly podcast to start finding your own way to a calmer, more intuitive space. Please note, I'm not functioning as your doctor, psychiatrist, psychoanalyst, therapist, or otherwise. This is here for education, if not entertainment, and I do hope you enjoy it. We do a thing every day, and the number advances, showing that I've added a new number to my streak. Ha! The number's growing. I grow proud. There are, however, at least 2 occasions where I lost that number. Each time it was somewhere in the hundreds, and I found much opportunity to practice my glowering in those days. The popular method for creating this habit, if you will, is called don't break the chain. In essence, it's about doing a thing every day and then adding a tally to it every time. And as the number increases, you grow prouder of yourself and somewhere along the way build a habit. Many apps and admonitions for developing habit encourage this path. However, this method is also one that subtly uses the fear of defeat and consequently shame as motivators. If you happen to miss a day, the counter returns to 0. The worry of impending failure is always there. While we haven't failed yet, the voice that is inevitable is always behind us. Since all things must pass somewhere down the line, the chain will break. Further, while we may grow proud of that number, there's something to consider in that comment by Goodhart. When a measure becomes a target, it ceases to be a good measure. If I only go for that number, I can feel the stagnation in my learning. But if I take the time to be and experience the words, the sentences, play with them until I feel like they're second nature, well, now I'm learning. But I also risk not meeting the requirements for that day's tick. In other words, the required milestone of work can stand against my learning. So what's important is the thing itself. Whatever it is we're engaging, the task, the hobby, the study, the measure that matters is our experience. I describe a practice of a daily invite in episode 24. In short, it means to 1, decide to be with something, 2, be, and then 3, do that daily. The steps can seem quite obvious. However, by separating the components, we can now practice them. We can consider what helps with any of these steps. Also, because there is no number, the loss is not a given. We can reflect on the effect of a missing day. In that reflection, we can better decide whether it would be useful to gently return ourselves to that habit. And then further, let's take that word habit. Rather than be so harsh, if things miss here and there, we still have a rhythm. One that fades in and out of our lives, weaving itself where it matters most. The importance is the experience, not the number. And because of this difference, we're no longer beholden to a number, so much as a developing sense of whatever it is that we're building, both as a thing and in how we relate to it. As we practice a craft, learn something, field of knowledge, there are often a zillion different components to think through. We can't think of everything all at once. We can't practice them all at once. But we can garden them over time. We practice one bit, see how that goes. Practice another, practice them together. Forget things, let them fade, and bring them back. Somehow in the roots and irrigation systems of this underground unconscious, as we do this, ideas start to generalize within the whole field, within the knowledge that we gather, within the skills. Sometimes, if we're lucky, it starts blending even into the other words and worlds we inhabit. As I get better with writing music, I might get better with writing words. As I get better at understanding creativity, I might get better at understanding the pains of when that system is blocked, in whatever the field, as I sit with a client maybe. The following piece is called Ascend, written in C-sharp minor, 3/4 time. I'd originally thought of it as a scene of devils and angels arising and fighting each other. Somehow it turned into this title, Ascend. Not sure what to make of that. Regardless, I hope you enjoy it. Before wrapping up here, I'd like to invite you to join my newsletter called The Weekly Wind Down, where I share more ideas about wandering minds and developing rhythms of focus. Head on over to rhythmsoffocus.com to sign up. It's free, and it's a great way to continue exploring these ideas between episodes.